Welcome back to my channel. In this video, we're going to be reacting to this article from Yahoo Finance about Sam Bankman-Fried and his girlfriend admitting that they knew they were misleading customers. Former Alameda Research CEO Caroline Ellison said she and FTX co-founder Sam Bankman-Fried knowingly misled lenders about how much the now bankrupt trading firm was borrowing from the cryptocurrency exchange. Now, with this whole thing, I've been wondering what was going to happen to Sam Bankman-Fried. I mean, I'm positive he's going to jail at this point. I just didn't know how long I think he's going to do. Now I think he's probably going to get a long sentence. Time will tell because, I mean, I don't have a crystal ball. Because the thing that throws me out off about this whole thing was, if you go back and you look at Bernie Madoff and when he went to jail, why he went to jail. And this is how it always works with financial fraud. If you steal from normal people, you generally get way less punishment than if you steal from rich people. Why? Because rich people have connections. Now, Bernie Madoff, he got sentenced to life. That's because he stole from rich people. The Wall Street bankers, they got bailouts because they stole from normal people with no power. Ellison gave her first public account on her actions in a December 19th plea hearing in a Manhattan federal court. I knew that it was wrong, she said, according to a transcript of the hearing. FTX co-founder Gary Wang also gave a statement that day. From 2019 through 2022, I was aware that Alameda was provided access to a borrowing facility on FTX.com, the cryptocurrency exchange run by Mr. Bankman-Fried, Ellison. In practical terms, this arrangement permitted Alameda access to an unlimited line of credit without being required to post collateral, without having negative balances, and without being subject to margin calls on FTX's liquidation protocols. Now, the question you have to ask with this, and whether he's going to jail, how good are his lawyers? And it turns out Bankman-Fried has excellent lawyers. Where the money is coming from, I'm not sure. His parents have money, but they don't have that much money. They had to post like $25 million in bail. I think, if that's how that works, I think it's 10% down. I could be wrong. But let's just go with $25 million on the low end. His parents don't have that, but yet somehow they came up with that. So, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you know how it goes, dude. Bend over the middle class and, you know, nothing happens to you. Some rich people lose some money and then you got real problems on your hand. Bankman-Fried, 30, is charged with orchestrating a years-long fraud in which he used billions of dollars of FTX customer funds for personal expenses and high-risk bets through Alameda. In interviews following FTX's bankruptcy, Bankman-Fried repeatedly said he was unaware of what went on at Alameda, a defense undermined by the statements from Wang and Ellison. Yeah, this dude's gonna lie through his teeth to get out of this, and I would be too, man. I mean, look at Bankman-Fried. I mean, I don't think I would do well in jail, and
for the ecosystem, right? Stopping it from being the case that anyone who transitively did business with any chain of people who did business with one of the troubled assets themselves became troubled. And then the secondary goal.
Yeah, I wouldn't do well in prison, so I don't think this fat, chubby, curly-haired dork is going to do too well in there either. It might be like a truck stop type situation, only there's not a... It's not a consensual exchange of customer funds for the services. That's all I'm going to say about him in prison. Ellison and Wang have pleaded guilty to fraud charges and are cooperating with Manhattan federal prosecutors. A representative for Bankman-Fried did not immediately return a request for comment on the statements from Wang and Ellison, the former FTX chief executive officer was released on a $250 million bail, $250 million bond on Thursday. Yeah, and I mean, it looks like, and it's what you thought was going to happen, dude. Whenever something like this happens, the federales come in and they go, all right, they're trying to fry the biggest fish. And in this case, it's Sam Bankman-Fried. So they're going to come in there. They're going to go like, hey, you tell us everything. We'll give you a plea deal. And you're not selling ass pussy in the local prison. I don't know how female prison works. I don't know if ass pussy is a commodity in female prison. In male prison, ass pussy is definitely a commodity that is traded and exchanged. You don't want to be the guy having to sell ass pussy, but it is what it is. If Alameda FTX accounts had a significant negative balances in any particular currency, it meant that Alameda was borrowing funds that FTX's customers had deposited on the exchange. And I'm not going to sit here and blow myself because it's not like I was the only dude on the internet doing it. But this is something that was warned about by a lot of people in the crypto space. Some of them, which I will give credit for, they were warning about a lot of this. I was telling you it's a fundamentally worthless token that's on a computer. And if there's a run on this stuff, you're not getting your money back. But, it is what it is. I mean, this was the inevitable outcome of the crypto space. Crypto was only enabled by the Fed keeping interest rates artificially low for the past 14 years. Then obviously stimmy checks flooded into the market. They shot everything up. People were warning. They were saying, hey, there's no fundamentals to crypto. As soon as the Fed starts raising interest rates, you're all going to be down at the truck stop selling some butt pussy. And what happened? We were all called idiots for telling people this, but it turns out this is how it happened. In his own plea hearing, Wayne said he was directed to make changes to FTX's platform code that he knew would give Alameda special privileges that was misrepresented were being made to customers and investors. Wayne was the chief technology officer. You got to ask the question, after all this is said and done, how did these obvious idiots, how did they get themselves in this position? Because, I mean, look, if I was working at this company and I saw this crap, I'm gone. I'm gone because, like I said, I don't want to be in prison with them. I'm looking at this and going, yo, you guys are committing fraud here. But these guys, for some reason, thought they were going to get away with it. That's how dumb they are. They're so dumb that they think they can commit fraud and get away with it. And they were touted out as this fat clown was touted out as modern day JP Morgan.
Maybe there's an investment or acquisition that can be done at, firms that we'd be excited about given the sort of need for capital right now. But that was usually not the standard we were able to hold ourselves to. In practice, the standard was, do we feel okay about this from a financial perspective? Like, does this...
Yeah, instead of actually assessing it on its merits, it's whether you feel okay about a particular investment.
And I'm wondering, what does it mean to have seen these testimonies by what new information about this case against FTX?
This is from Caroline in her own words, what was going on at FTX and Alameda last month. And it's the same case with Gary Wang. If we look at what Ellison said during the plea hearing on December 19, she spoke to the relationship between FTX and Alameda. She said that Alameda was pulling money from FTX.com and had a limited line of credit. This arrangement allowed Alameda to use this money without being required to collateral and without having negative balances or without being subject to margin on FTX.com.
Yeah, I mean, I think this dude's boned, to be honest with you. But, I mean, in all honesty too. I mean, he's probably not going to end up in a pound me in the ass prison. He's probably going to end up in some white collar Ghislaine Maxwell prison because, I mean, in all honest, God, I got to stop repeating myself. But I mean, he's way too connected to a lot of people, I think, to just get thrown out to the wolves. Time will tell. But I mean, you had a whole bunch of people in the Democratic Party that took money from this dude. So I don't know how that's going to affect all of this, but you know, the SEC tends to have a pretty negative outlook on anything that disrupts confidence in the consumer investment market. So it remains to be seen what'll happen to SBF, but I think this dude's going to get a pretty significant jail sentence. So anyways, Merry Christmas. If you liked this video, consider liking and subscribing, or don't. I don't want to tell anybody what to do. And have a good Christmas.